Hi everyone, this is Jiangsu. Today we are going to interview some researchers and talk about their critical insights about the article. One story is not an opinion, CSR reporting and face swap in a stigmatized industry. A case study of Barrick gold mine in Tanzania. We have invited three famous researchers, Jing Rangao, Samuel Smith, and Sidney Yang. Let's start this interview. Could you please mention the main idea that the article is communicating at first?
The main idea of the article, when sorry is not an option, CSR reporting and face work in a stigmatized industry, a case study of Barrick Acacia gold mine in Tanzania focused on how a stigmatized entity restored legitimated crisis and destroy reputation and image by manipulating accounting and CSR reporting. The article draws on literature of Goffman stigma and presentation theory and also Benoit image restoration theory to help stigmatize company in avoiding the issue of stigmatization. And the article also addressed the concept of organizational stigma and researchers the strategies of stigma management to decrease negative reflects on the audience.
What are the key strengths and weaknesses in writing this article? Could you please share about your opinion?
Yep, so in my opinion, the strengths would be that there are a range of journal articles cited throughout and that it provides clear information on the sources that have been used throughout the text. So that includes government reports, newspaper articles, there were annual reports, CSR reports. The journal article consistently relates to key findings through the research discussed, so it consistently talks about Goffman's writings on stigma and Benoit's image restoration theory. One of the other strengths was that the article mentions it's a qualitative case study, and that's what's being conducted, and it explains that the researchers believed that that was the most appropriate research method available. Some of the weaknesses I think would be also that it is a qualitative only research paper, so there were no random samples used, only secondary data was used, and that may not make it as accurate as it could have been. The study also only refers to non-English sources, and the researchers did screen specifically for text that was biased towards the research topic and the researchers' views. They also acknowledged that the analysis may be limited by the researchers' interpretations of all the text that they did read. So that would be my opinion on the key strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, thank you. What is your opinion on how convincing and persuasive are the research findings provided in the article?
Firstly, we evaluated the internal validity of the article. Internal validity refers to if the information in the article is trustworthy. In evaluating the article, the argument made by the author is that whether the health issue faced by the resident residing near the mining site is affected by the operation of acacia mining, but the question arises whether the argument is convincing enough for the general public to think that the health issue is mainly because of the operation of the acacia mining. In my opinion, the lack of confounding factor decreased the persuasiveness of the argument, because what if a number of the resident is smoker, because it definitely decreased their health issue in the first place. Other than that, the author of the article only chosen one company to make the argument, and it appears to me that the sample was not from random selection, further reducing the internal validity of the article. Besides, we also determined the external validity of the article, which is the extent of the result of the article that can be generalized into the general public. One factor that improved the persuasiveness of the article is that the investigation was taken from real-life event, but there are threats to the external validity of the article, which is the outcome was only investigated by one company, so it cannot be generalized to a larger population like other company. Besides, because only qualitative case study was used and because the sample size is of random selection, the external validity of this article decreases.
Are there any limitations?
I think the validity and reliability of this article should be examined. I think validity and reliability could be some of the limitations. Validity means whether the completeness and applicability of the method used are accurate or not. Authors of this article collected data mostly from secondary sources, such as newspaper articles, government reports, even blogs. As we all know that newspaper articles reflected mainly editors' opinions, which are based on their own self-interest. Government presented what they want reported to the public, not always the truth or the fact. Blogs, citing bloggers' subjective opinions, this data would be biased, destroying the validity. Reliability means the consistency of measures employed, granting potential biases or comparing with other examples would help for making qualitative research more credible. But this article only discusses about barric. Such a simple case study makes articles conclusion less trustworthiness. One good thing is that the article requires researchers to analyze documents separately to keep critical thinking and avoid personal biases. But such documents and data reach similar conclusions. From this point, these conclusions would not be generalized. Another limitation for reliability would be that author did not perform interviews or surveys with barric stakeholders. Lack of primary data may lead to inappropriate conclusion. This article extended literature about existing stigma and presentation of self. However, it just focused on one particular company, decreasing the reliability.
Can you make an expectation about any future opportunities of the company?
One of the opportunities they could have done was additional research methods. So they could have used interviews and questionnaires for management and key stakeholders of the company. They also could have analysed how many managers would have taken the same approach in the same situation, which they didn't do.
Anything else?
I think the conclusion reached in this article just focus on barric, the mining company in Tanzania. Maybe in the future, the outcomes of this article could be more generalized in other industries and other countries.
After listening to the opinions of the three researchers, all of us could have had some insight into the article. This paper only uses qualitative analysis, but the combination of the qualitative analysis and the quantitative analysis will make the paper more convincing. It also enlarged previous academic literature about the corporate legitimacy quizzes and CSR reports. But it has insufficient disclosure of the corporate sustainability. This article also provides new insight about how companies respond or react when stigma arises. We cannot deny that the organization's treatment of the stigma is incorrect, because this action guarantees the interest of the parent companies. Thanks for listening.